15 under section part 3. Look at it. Part 3, section 15 gives your obligations on the audit, on the accounts. How many audits are you supposed to do?
Annual audit. Annual audit.
So I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
AG's department also, solicitor, just take a look at it. Yeah. Can you please read? It's the English one, page number 17. Because if it is completed, then it's okay. If not, then by the time you come next, it has to be completed. That's why. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chairman, now, as per the Act, there's Port City Economic Commission Fund and the Commission. You need to maintain two separate books of accounts.
That's why I said you have to have two audits.
Two audits as in one legal entity, but the books need to be audited by the auditors separately and give their opinion on it.
Chairman, can I ask a question?
Please.
We heard that the commission was trying to set up the bank account, a bank account for almost 1 year. Have you set up that account?
Which I'm not familiar with. This.
Port City with the central bank, because now if an investor wants to come and invest, they can't bring in the money to Sri Lanka, right? They have to bring money into the Port City account.
Yeah, right? Chairman, with your permission, shall I ask my colleague to answer on
Honorable Minister, what we'll do, Pramit, is we'll keep all the questions for next time, because there has to be a responsible person answering these questions, right? So this is not about any particular issue, it's about the audit, whether the accounts. Do you have the act with you?
Yes, I do.
Would you kindly read to us 15 on page 17?
Yeah. The accounts of the Commission shall be audited annually by a qualified auditor in terms of Article 154 of the Constitution. For the purposes of this section, the qualified auditor so appointed may be an international firm of accountants.
Yeah. So the point is, so now who audited your books?
Video partners.
That is the fund or the commission? Both.
Both.
Right. So you got prior approval from the Auditor General to do that?
Correct.
Correct. And now it has gone to both the fund and the commission, it has gone to the Auditor General?
Yes, they have gone through the numbers, yes.
So now it is a year delayed, no? More than a year, no? I mean, for a company like this, which you would want to have a stellar record, no? You want to have your audited accounts immediately to be seen within 3 months.
Therefore, Chairman, the article that you referred to, does not it also say by which, it is 4 months, first quarter, second quarter of the next year, the report should be ready by?
Article 154 doesn't actually say that, I don't think. It doesn't.
So
no.
that gives a free hand to anybody to take. Even some other organizations, state organizations, come after 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you want to be different.
But this organization cannot be like that, no? Because we are.
I mean, if you say, I mean, Mr. Commissioner, if you want to be sort of top notch, I mean, everything has to be top notch, no? I mean, you can't delay the audited accounts by 1 year. It's too, don't you think it's, I mean, that's why I'm asking you, are you all really interested in getting this off the ground? Or are you just...
Thank you for these questions. Just a simple answer would be that there are two clarifications that are still being made. One is on the balance sheet side is the treatment of the value of the land. The other one, sir, on the P&L side is the taxation regime. Those have still not been completely clarified by the relevant authorities. But the actual accounts have been audited. It's their release that requires these clarifications.
Yes, but then Auditor General's office is here. Can somebody clarify what this issue is? Because ideally, this audit should have been submitted to this house at least 6 months ago, right? So, Auditor General's office, the Deputy Auditor General is here. Karnakala, apne explain කරන්න පුළුවන්ද මොකක්ද කියලා මේකේ ගැටලුව?
So it's actually report appointment of the qualified auditor was little bit delay.
How much delayed?
it was on 2022 April. Thereafter, a few clarification need to be get
So,
from.
but there wasn't the auditor appointed at the beginning of the year. Shouldn't the auditor be appointed at the beginning of the financial year?
The auditor was appointed as per Article 154.
Yes. You have to get see, because I'll tell you why all these questions are coming. Please understand that in the original piece of legislation, the draft, the government of Sri Lanka had a stake in this. Okay? Then, I don't want to go into the history, but that was changed and the government stake was removed. Okay? The government stake was removed. So the entire initial capital was put in by the Port City Company. Okay? Now, multiple questions arose whether what right does the Parliament of Sri Lanka have, in overseeing, even asking you questions, even asking you to come here. Okay? Of course, that is to look at your audit, whether you can be summoned by the COPA, that's a separate matter. But this is the Committee on Public Finance, so that doesn't really apply to us. Because for you to get these regulations approved, you need to come here. You don't need to go to the COPA for any such thing. COPA would look at what happened in your company's audits and stuff like that, right? So there is a history to this, right? And we believe that there has to be oversight on activities undertaken by you, by this house. And because whatever you may say, it is taxpayer money that went into the sand and whatever it is that you gave free, right? There has to be some sort of accountability. The two funds, right? Some part of the fund goes to Mr. Sirivardhana's treasury. So we want to know how many dollars did the Port City send across the road to the treasury in 21. In 22, you have leased some land, haven't you? I think you have leased more than one plot of land. There is
Six
in the law, not in the regulation. 6 blocks in the law, in the act. It says you have to so there is some royalty, 1% or something like that. So we want to know whether the people of this country got this money.
So can I give you a simple answer for that? Thank you for the question. It's a very important one. The Commission's funding started with a 400 million rupee advance, in other words, a loan from the project company that was to be recovered. Our 1% only applies to those lands that are project company marketable land.
I understand
the rest of
that.
it is all ours, as you know.
I know that. So one is revenue. That is a
So the 1% came in and exceeded the advance by about 5 or 6 million rupees. So we therefore offset completely the advance that we took from the project company. So therefore there is no further financial obligation with them. But in terms of contributing to the consolidated fund, we have retained all of the funding that we have received for the purpose of running the commission and the treatment of tax. So there may be a big, if we are subject to tax, if that revenue, if you call it revenue, it's subject to tax. If it's income to the commission, it may not be. So we're having a discussion on how this should be accounted, because then when that decision is complete, some of it will go to our commission member SD's CF.
Didn't you? Surya, since you are the spokesperson finally, may we know what is the cost of this commission annually?
Honorable Raghavan, just if you don't mind, on this whole point, Is this commission a public corporation? What is the legal entity of this thing? Just 1 minute. What is the legal entity of this?
It's an independent statutory commission
Commission means.
by its own.
Yeah, it has all the independence. Like I'm University Grant
Likewise,
Commission. I'm
yeah.
dealing with University Grant Commission,
Yeah.
National Education Commission, but they are independent of their operations, but accountable to
So-
these respective.
Also,
Obviously.
the commission is accountable to Parliament in every way.
Exactly.
Yes, that is correct, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
there is no doubt or dispute about that.
Yeah.
It's just that the commission by act.
No, wait.
retains-
Part 1, page 3, 2 of 3. The commission shall, by the name assigned to it under subsection 1, be a body corporate. So it's a corporate body. A body corporate with perpetual succession and a common seal and may sue and be sued in such name. So it is a corporate body. Thank you. Now if you look at the constitution of this nation, public corporation means any corporation, board or other body, including a commission in that case, which was or is established by or under any written law, which is the case, other than the company's ordinance, which is the case, which funds or capital wholly or partly provided by the government by way of a grant, loan or otherwise. Okay? So for the lawyers here, the question is, now the commissioner says, we got a loan of 400 million rupees from the dollars or rupees?
Rupees, and it's called an advance.
Right, 400 million rupees advance from the project company, and we paid it back. So my point is, now under any written law other than the company, with funds or capital wholly or partly provided by the government by way of a grant, loan or otherwise. Now can the Aegis department explain to us here whether there is any difference between this interpretation of a public corporation here in the constitution and the public corporation as alluded to in the Port City Commission Act?
While he, I think, looks at the letters of the law, do you have a figure of operational cost of this commission annually? All inclusive, rent, remuneration, operational cost. Do you have just a ballpark figure at least?
I would defer that question to Ruan, sir,
Yeah,
if I
please.
may.
Please. Whoever is more competent to
Cost
answer.
of commission.
Monthly cost is about 12.5 million.
12.5 million monthly operation.
Shall I read this part? I'm good.
So we'll get that answer, right? So it's 12.5 into 12, you're saying, basically. So roughly about 150 million, right? Okay, thank you.
No, shall I read this? It is better to
150 million rupees,
all
right?
sums of money equivalent to 1% from all sums received from July 1st, 2023, ending the June 30th, 2028, from any lease of government marketable land situating within the area of authority. Now you have not alienated the government marketable land, is that so?
That is correct, sir. We have not sold, in other
Right.
words, we have not leased government marketable land yet.
Yeah.
They
In that
lease
case-
a company land.
Yeah, only because what you say,
Company land
if,
also has the same thing clause here.
if, for example, as Honorable Mr. Yapa says, if it is government marketable land, we still get the 1%, Treasury gets the 99%.
Chairman, now,
But in this case, we get 1%, the Port City Company gets the rest.
Yeah, so thus far, how many, see, I mean, this is why the audit is needed, no? I mean, you come to the house here, we have to find out how Mr. Sirivardhan is going to fill his treasury. We have a serious crunch of, we know, we don't have to explain to you. So we want to know. Now you all leased 6 plots of land.
Correct. All of them project company marketable plots.
They are all project company. You didn't want to see.
Bring to your notice to section 23 subsection D. All sums of money may have been received by the Commission by way of local assessment rates and any other levies imposed by the Commission at such rates as prescribed within the area of authority of the Colombo Port City, which sums shall be credited to the consolidated fund as quarterly basis and will form part of the government revenue. Have you all done that?
Correct, sir. But that applies to rates that are effective when the city is functioning.
Right.
The rates are not applicable yet. We are not collecting rates from anybody.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that will kick in when the EMC starts. And Honorable Sir, Mr. Harsha, you remember that in the TPA, there is an agreement that we would release 1 government plot every 7 government plots purely for expediting their ROI. So we are at the point now that we can and will be soon releasing government plots.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, all what we want is this audited accounts, and I'm still waiting for the deputy auditor general.
This is.
I'm sorry, honorable
Chairman,
member.
When the law
Yes.
it shows any ambiguity, it's normally what we are doing is we refer the attention to the department. So I believe from among yourselves having discussions on what is the law, what is priority, it's better to refer to the attention general. So I wonder whether we have already consulted the attention department regarding the ambiguity or whatever the issue you have. So whether you can have your discussions and you can have your thoughts, and it's delay the whole process. So normally what we are doing, the practice is here, if there is ambiguity, any issue, you must refer to the AG. So I think, I don't know whether you have already asked the issue or whether you are going to ask, or what is the, I would like to know the process going on regarding that. Otherwise, among yourselves you can have delay the time and you can have the discussion. But rather than that, you better go to the AG.
ඒක ඉතාමත් වැදගත් මේ පොයින්ට් එකක් ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා. හැබැයි මට මේ විගණකාධිපතිතුමාගේ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් කරුණා කරලා අපිට දැනුවත් කරන්නකො ඇයි මේ මෙච්චර අවුරුද්දක ඩිලේ එකක් තියෙන්නේ කියලා.
ඔව් ඇත්තටම සබතුමා ඇත්තදී ඉනිෂියලි අද පටන් ගන්න අවස්ථාවේදී ඩිස්කෂන් එකක් තිබුණා. who should be the audit කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් auditor general ද එහෙම නැත්නම් third party එකක්ද කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් company එකේ මොකද act එකේ දෙනවා qualified auditor කියන නිසා
නෑ එහෙම හේතුවක් තියෙන හේතුවක් නෑ මේක ඉතාමත් පැහැදිලිව තියෙනවා auditor general ගේ අනුමැතිය අනුව private auditor කෙනෙක්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මොකක්ද ඒකද මේ සාකච්ඡාව
ඊට පස්සේ appointment එකට පරක්කුණ ඇත්තටම ඊට පස්සේ අපි appoint කරලා දින BDO partnersලා auditor අපිට assist කරන්න
පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න සභාපති සමාවෙන්න කමිෂන්තුමා දැන් මෙතුමා කියන්නේ ඩිස්කෂන් එකක් තිබ්බා මේ ප්‍රයිවට් ඔඩිටර් කෙනෙක්ද ඔඩිටර් ජෙනරල්ද කරන්න කියලා ඩිස්කෂන් මේ ඇක්ට් එකේ ඉතාමත්ම පැහැදිලිව තියෙනවානේ මේක ඔඩිටර් ජෙනරල්ගේ අනුමැතිය ඇතුව ඕනනම් ප්‍රයිවට් ඔඩිටර් කෙනෙක්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ඉතින් මොකක්ද ඒකේ තිබිච්ච ගැටලුව
පස්සේ අතර මේ ගැටලුව निराකරණය වුණා සභාපතිතුමනි
නෑ ඇයි ගැටලුව කොහොමද ගැටලුවක් ආවේ කියන්න මේක පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කියන්නේ.
ඔව් ඇත්තට මේක ඩිස්කෂන් එකක් තිබුණේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මුල් අවස්ථාවේදී පස්සේ ඒක එකඟතාවයකට ඔක්කොම අවබෝධ කරගත්තා මේක හිම ගැටලු निराකරණය වුණා කියලා.
ඉතින් ඇක්ට් එකේ පැහැදිලිව තියෙනවනේ ඒක ඩිස්කෂන් වෙන්න හේතුවක් නැහැනේ. අයි කාටද ඕන කරේ මේ වෙනස් කරන්න ඕන කරේ කාටද?
අපිට එහෙම වෙනස් කරන්න අවශ්‍යතාවය තිබුණ බව නම් නිරීක්ෂණය වුණේ ඇත්තටම අපි පස්සේ BDO partnersලා appoint කරාට පස්සේ තවම අපිට report එක ලැබුණේ නැහැ BDOs ළඟින්. අපි දැන් අද reminder එකක් දැම්ම නැවත.
මොකද්ද මේ කියන්නේ වෙන කතාවන්නේ ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ තව කතාවන්නේ. දැන් මෙතුමා කියනවා BDO partner ගෙන් ලැබුණ නැල්ලු මේ account අවුරුද්දකට වැඩිනේ.
ඇත්තටම auditor general තමයි audit කරන්නේ. auditor generalට assist කරන්න qualified auditor කෙනෙක් විදියට BDO partnersලා appoint කරලා තියෙනවා. BDO partnersලාගේ audit report එක direct report වෙන්නේ parliament එකට නෙවෙයි auditor generalට BDO partnersලා තාම auditor generalට report කරලා නැහැ. auditor general report එතකොට ඒකට issues අවස්ථා කීපකදී අපිත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරා මේ සර් ඒකේ මූලික වශයෙන්ම අර CFO කියපු විදිහටම මූලික කාරණා කීපයක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් land සම්බන්ධයෙන් account කරන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඊට අමතරව පාර්ලිමේන්තු අර act එකෙන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන land එකේ ප්‍රමාණයයි ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඒක ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ලිපියෙන් දීපු අර ඇබෝට් කරපු ලෙටර් එකේ තියෙන එකත් එක්ක තියෙන වෙනසක් තියෙනවා ලෑන්ඩ් එකේ ප්‍රමාණය සම්බන්ධ. අන්න ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් තියෙන ඉෂුව එකක් සහ ඊට අමතරව අර ඉනිෂියල් අර සභාපතිතුමා කිව්වා වගේම ඉනිෂියල් කැපිටල් මේ ඉනිෂියල් වියදම් කව කරන්න 400 මිලියන් රුපීස් කම්පැනි එකෙන් ගත්ත එක ඒක ඉනිෂියල් වියදම් මොනවාක්වත් නැතුව සෙටල් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක 2028 වෙනකන් අරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබුණා ඒක. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබුණා අපේ මාකටිං එක්ස්පෙන්සස් වලට ප්‍රොමෝෂනල් එක්ස්පෙන්සස් වලට. බට් ඒක නොසලකා අපිට අපේ සාකච්ඡා කරන විදිහට ඒ ලැබිච්ච සම්පූර්ණ මුදලම සෙට් ඔෆ් කරනවා ලැබෙන්න තියෙන එකක් වෙනුවෙන්. එතකොට ඉනිෂියල් ස්ටේජ් එකේදී වියදම් ගන්න තියෙන අවස්ථාව දැන් බැලුමටම අහිමි වෙලා තියෙනවා.
දැන් මේ පොඩක් ඉන්න මේ කමිෂන් මෙම්බර් එතකොට මෙතන පරස්පරයක් තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමාලා කියන්නේ එකක්, ඔඩිටර් ජෙනරල්ගේ ඔෆිස් එකෙන් කියන්නේ එකක්. එතකොට දැන් බලන්නකෝ ඕගොල්ලෝ මේකට එනවා. ඔඩිට් එකක්වත් නැහැ. මාස 12ක් ගිහිල්ලා. ප්‍රයිවට් ඔඩිට් කෙනෙක්ට දුන්නාලු. හරි. දැන් ඒ ප්‍රයිවට් ඔඩිටර් ඉන්නවද අද ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන? කො ප්‍රයිවට් ඔඩිටර් කවුද? එයාට එන්න කියන්නේ. ඊළඟ දවසේ එයාට එන්න කියන්නේ. ඒකේ සභාපතිට එන්න කියන්නේ. මොකක්ද ඒකේ නම? කවුද ඒකේ ප්‍රධානියා?
සුජීව රාජපක්ෂ.
සුජීව රාජපක්ෂ. එයාට එන්න කියන්නේ.
ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ටර්ම් ඔෆ් රෙෆරන්ස් උත් එවන්න. කොයි කාලෙද ඒගොල්ලෝ ගන්න ඕනේ මොනවද ඒගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ කියලා. මොකද ඔබතුමා කියන හැටියට ලීගල් ඉෂුව එකක් තියෙනවනේ දැන්. ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට් දුන්නු ලෑන්ඩ් එකයි මේක ඇත්ත තියෙන ලෑන්ඩ් එකයි අතර.
මම කියන්නේ මේ මෙව්ව විසඳ ගන්න.
නෑ ඒකේ මේ ඉඩමේ ප්‍රමාණය සම්බන්ධ ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා සබතුමා.
Riaz, you are an accountant. No, tell me what is.
Can I explain, Mr. Chairman? After I came on the board, the CFO did raise the issue. These were queries raised by the Aegis department on how the land should be treated. And there was a discrepancy in the survey of the land that was done in the original and the subsequent. So I have now provided guidance to them on how the treatment should be done in accordance with IFRS. I have told them and I have told the CFO to convey to the AG that this is how it should be treated. So that has been given. And secondly, on the issue of the discrepancy, the first survey of land when it was given, they had included the Chaitya, which was not reclaimed land. So we have, so I have explained that. Yeah, so we have explained it.
ඕක රිසෝල්ව් කරන්න චෛත්‍ය පෝට් සිටි එකට අයිතිද නැද්ද කියන එක රිසෝල්ව් කරන්න අවුරුද්දක් යනවාද?
No, I'm only saying what happened after I came on the board. I have sat with them and given them how it should be resolved.
අපිට මේක අදාළ දැනට මේක I don't want to go into details. We are not going into details. We are going to dismiss you today. But I just want to raise the fact that your private auditor has still not submitted the audit to the Auditor General, even after 12 months. That is a fact. Okay? And that has to be rectified immediately before you all people come when we summon you next. The second point is, would you kindly explain the difference between the interpretation of a public corporation in the Constitution and what the gentleman said about the initial capital? දැන් ඔබතුමා මොකක්ද කිව්වේ ඉනිෂියල් කැපිටල් එක ගැන මිලියන් 400 කතාව?
ඉනිෂියල් කැපිටල් එක නෙවෙයි අතරම සර් එතන කිව්වේ ඉනිෂියල් එක්ස්පෙන්සස් කවර් කරන්න ඇඩ්වාන්ස් එකක් විදිහට
දැන් මේකට කමිෂන් මේකට කැපිටල් එකක් තියනවද මේ ආයතනයේට?
No, it didn't have. According to that, it didn't have, no. So the investor gave an advance for this commission to operate.
Right. So that is why I want you to give the explanation, please. Yes. Come. You're needed. Come. Please come. Come. We're waiting for you on a technical clarification. We are trying to, Honorable Sumandiran, now we are trying to figure out if there is any discrepancy between the interpretation of a public corporation in the Constitution and the way this commission is defined also as a public corporation, and whether the issue of initial capital arises.
Which was an advance by the investor, apparently.
Yeah,
advance gave an operation, investor gave an operation to commission to run.
Okay,
So it's in the act.
Yeah, I think it's. list එක
Yeah,
තියාගෙන.
so අපි මේක විතරයි මේ කරුණු දෙකයි අපිට clarify කරන්න ඕනේ. No, අපිට කරුණු දෙකක් clarify කරන්න ඕනේ. එකක් තමයි audit එක. audit එකට අදාළ දෙයක් තමයි මේක. හරි? එතකොට මේ clarification එකත් එක්ක අපිට audit එක අපිට බාර දෙන්න වෙනවා ඊළඟ පාර එනකොට. ඒකයි මම කියන්නේ. So this is the last point. I said we are going to dismiss you. This is the last point that we want you to explain. Yes.
Now, in terms of
mic එක දාගන්න please. Yeah, but it is not for us, it's for the record. So if you don't mind, Saan.
Thank you.
ඒක දාන්න පුළුවන්.
it's working, Honorable Chair. Now, as Honorable Chair correctly pointed out, the wordings public corporations is encapsulated under Article 154(1) of the Constitution, which is under the duties and functions of the Auditor General, which is a material factor which is on the table at present. Now, in terms of Article 154(1), the Auditor General is empowered, shall audit the accounts of all, these are material, Honorable Chair, all departments of government, the officers of Cabinet of Ministers, the Judicial Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, the Parliamentary Commissioner for Administration, the Secretary General of the Parliament and the Election Commission, local authorities, public corporations, I'm emphasizing on that words, and I'm emphasizing on this word, Honorable Chair, business or other undertakings vested in the government under any written law. Now, to answer the very material question, what is a public corporation? The interpretation is there under the Article 170 of the Constitution. It defines the public corporation means any corporation, board or other body was or is established by or under any written law, other than the Companies Ordinance, as correctly pointed out by the Honorable Chair, with funds or capital wholly or partly provided by the government by way of grant, loan or otherwise. Now, I invite the attention of the Honorable Chair to the Section 3, Subsection 2, where it defines...
Of what?
I'm sorry, the relevant act, Colombo Port City Economic Commission Act, Honorable Chair. Now, that 3 subsection 2 classifies the commission shall, by the name assigned to it under subsection 1, be a body corporate with a perpetual succession and common seal and may sue and sued in such name. Now, when we analyze critically, there are a couple of points that I need to emphasize. One is whether these public corporations referred under Article 154(1), which should be read with Article 170, would necessarily capture this commission. That is the legal issue. I believe that particular legal issue has not been, as per my understanding, as per now, as yet, the Honorable Chair, it has not been referred to the Attorney General under the Chapter 33 of the Establishments Code.
But just, Solicitor, now in the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, we brought in commissions also. No? Commissions, wasn't there some, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution specifically, where is that? Specifically brought, no. Yeah, it was specifically to address this issue, it was brought in, if I'm not mistaken.
The higher education ministry has got 5 commissions, so they're also under...
Where was it? So go ahead, Bill, go ahead.
Yes.
Subject to that.
Now, the Honorable Attorney General cannot make any decisions or determinations or the conclusions when it comes to policy decisions. It's very clearly encapsulated under the Chapter 33 of the Establishments Code. However, if this matter is referred to the Honorable Attorney General, I'm of the view that the Honorable Attorney General is in a position to make a determination on this particular matter with reference to all the articles which I pointed out in the Constitution, which should be read with Section 3, subsection 2 of the relevant Act, Honorable Chair. So this is a pertinent legal question which I say, which can be answered by the Honorable Attorney General.
Attorney General would advise the Commission. That's all. Attorney General's advice is to the Commission, not to anybody else.
That's correct.
No one else is bound by the Attorney General's opinion on this issue. So you want clarification, you ask the Attorney General. But neither the Parliament nor anyone else is bound by that advice of the Attorney General, which in most cases have proved to be wrong.
I agree with the Honorable former Chairman of the committee. So, I mean, there is no need to just, pass the ball up and down.
AGN.
Right? We have to have the audited accounts tabled in this House immediately. So, if you have a problem in resolving it, better resolve it yourselves. You don't have to take 12 months to resolve any matter that has arisen, because it's a technicality that you all are sort of debating here.
Mr. Riaz, with the Chairman's permission,
Okay,
may
so
I ask
we
you
will end
something?
now. Yeah.
You said you gave your guidelines from ICA, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants, to the present auditor's body. But shouldn't it have come from them? They would have seen the patient and immediately said these are the queries that they have.
No, I was asked my advice by the finance about the application of IFRS, and I gave the direction how it should be accounted for. That's all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they don't need to get free advice, no? They
Exactly.
don't need to appoint you on the board to get your advice. I mean, certainly we would have had sufficient money to, pay and get advice on how to treat an accounting issue. And BDO partners or whoever should have been able to advise you. Why do you appoint whatever that company is if they are unable to, do the work?
How you account has to be done by the Commission, has to take a call. So I told them how we should say how the accounting should be done,
Right.
and the auditors will
So
then concur with that.
before your appointment, how many months ago were you appointed?
3 months, 4 months.
So
3 months,
before
3
that,
months.
who was looking after sort of the expertise that you brought in this time?
I'm not aware, Mr. Chairman.
Yes? Yes?
After the 31st of December 2021, we appointed with the due process BDO partners as the auditors with their concurrence, and we finished the fieldwork mid last year. Now we are in 2023, mid last year, and due to these technical clarifications which we got
But don't you prepare quarterly accounts?
we have our management accounts, Chairman. Management account.
This is useless telling us now, 12 months, 13 months into after the end of the year. So Mr. Kodituakku, is there anything you want to add?
No, Chairman. I
Right.
think there are a lot of issues like this. If we can have sessions like this, we should be able to iron out those things, because there's a lot of things get stuck between the government agencies. And sometimes we become helpless how to get those things resolved.
Thank you very much. Even though you're unwell, we appreciate your participation today. And I want to actually support what he said. I mean, we are here to help. We are here to help. We are here to iron out the issues, right? And we are not trying to sort of, pull your leg. We need to get to sort of, we believe in this project. I keep reiterating. But then
Chairman,
for us to...
Chairman, can we have a session where when we have issues like this, who do we go to? And because all the time the people kept saying we didn't have anybody to raise our issues with the government.
See, I mean, I don't want to go beyond the remit that we have. the Public Finance Committee's TOR says that anything to do with revenue, expenditure or debt, we can sort of look into. So if you can put it into one of those buckets, then you can always ask your secretary, because ultimately it is the secretary of the ministry that Port City is gazetted under, who's the coordinator between your commission and the government, right? So he can, the newly minted secretary who's totally confused at right now. I don't blame
I
him
suppose,
at all.
Chairman, I suppose they can also refer to the future Ways and Means Commission also.
Yeah, whatever this committee exists,
Yeah.
right? This is an existing committee. So, Mr. Kodituaku, you can feel free to direct it our way, and then we can put it to our committee, and we will be willing to go out of our way to help you resolve these problems. Right. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mr. Kodituaku, I want to leave with a lighter note after all this. The aim of this commission and this whole process is to have single window investment facilitator, to act as such. I wonder how we can even act as a single window when we have even our foundations are broken.
So let me conclude. Any member want to add anything else?
Just to get clarification, Chairman, when will the next committee meet and get all these issues that were
That is
raised?
what I'm going to conclude now. It is hardly, that we sort of dismiss, who we have summoned without going into the subject matter. And this is one unfortunate situation, right? So the Director General, who is supposed to be the chief person in charge, is not here. He was yesterday. The secretary wrote to us saying he would be leading the delegation on the Port City Commission. In fact, that was incorrect because the commissioners had to be here.